Welcome to the E7 Podcast, the ultimate destination for all things high school football. I'm your host, Corey Mack. With me, former Division I running back Nico Steriti. Listen, we're all passionate about football enthusiasts. Today we have a very special guest with us, TJ Valerio, the MVP of our first Elite 7v7 event. We're excited to have him to share his insights, his experiences with us. But before we dive in, let's take a moment to thank our incredible sponsors who make this show possible. Big shout out to Dwag LLC and La Mondina of Brielle, New Jersey for their continued support. Now let's kick off the show. What's up, Nick?
My man Corey, how are we today,
man,
brother?
This is great, man. Just so everyone knows, this is the first of the first, man. Are you excited or what?
Many years behind these screens.
I thought we'd never be sitting in this position, honestly. Like, we've talked about having a podcast for so long now. It's kind of crazy, actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, you know, with the platform that's being set for our athletes, now the personalization of getting to understand us as people, I see as an avenue for, you know, just all good things.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that we want is guests on the show. I think down the line here, we'll have some pretty awesome guests. I know you have a lineup of networked people in your network.
Of course. You know, I would love to have, you know, I have so many questions for so many different kinds of people, including the youth and the high school and parents and coaches, retired coaches, my head coach from college, you know, and just being able to share what experiences I've had. Teammates of mine have had, coaches who've coached me and where they've gone, where they're at now. So then when kids come through Elite 7v7, they realize, like, whoa, there's eyes on us. It's not just a click and you're getting, you know, your 40 and all your scores sent to schools, and now you're just a name and you're being scanned through. Like, this is personalized. I have personal relationships with a lot of people, and just because of that, they're looking. It's not even they're recruiting. They respect me as an individual just as much as I respect them. They value our connection. You know, there's a coach at Boston College who grew up in this area, and you know, I still have a great connection with him.
Absolutely.
Hit him up. He's going to try to make it to our event. So, like, I'm not into, like, announcing what schools or, like, what people. Just know there's eyes on you. Even if it's my eyes, and even if it's the coaches that are there, and it's their eyes, because those eyes matter. There's a reason that they're here. These guys have seen some players. So if you turn our heads, it's a river. You know, like, we're gonna talk about you. I'm sending all these kids videos out to my buddies who are coaches, whether they answer me or not. Right. You know, and the thing is this: kids just want offers today. Mm-hmm. That's all they want. I want an offer. I want an offer. You got to earn that. You can't want an offer. You have to earn an offer. And sometimes you earn it and you still don't get it. That shouldn't change the way you play the game. And that shouldn't change the way how you go about doing your business. And that's something that's lost in today's generation. That's something I can't wait to talk about because I don't have that much time on the football field.
Right.
So,
yeah, I mean, I think that's something we definitely have to dive into. The difference in youth athletes today compared to when we grew up is absolutely ridiculous. Social media, having cell phones, that whole thing has changed how these kids look at opportunities. And
wait a second. We thanked our sponsors, but we forgot about our partners.
I was just getting to it. I was going to ask you, what about our partners?
I just looked down. I was like, that looks good. You got it on your shirt.
I mean, and you can't even see what the podcast really looks like, but we got our sponsors and partners right in the middle of the screen.
I feel it.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit. So let's start with NCSA. One of the partnerships that we started from the beginning, we knew that when we built this platform, we wanted to give athletes recruiting. We wanted to help them with recruiting, and at first we wanted to do it ourselves. Am I right or wrong? I mean, we wanted to do it ourselves.
And we are. We still kind of are in a lot of different ways. It's just, why not add to it with somebody and something that is masterful at it, you know,
exactly.
that's associated with IMG Academy. We're the only 7v7 company in the nation that's associated with the NCSA. So it's you want to play college sports, cool. Again, you can want a lot of things, but it's not always what you know, it's who you know.
Absolutely.
So if you're an 8th grader and you're entering our tournaments, now you're entering into the college database yourself as an individual. And I think that's important, because if you start too late, you can't blame nobody. And that's what we want to do. We want to educate parents. We want to educate individuals. More than welcome to hang out and discuss things with high school coaches.
Yep.
And same thing with college coaches. I got great relationships with all my buddies. College players that became pro players, CFL, Europe, you name it.
Yeah, I mean, I think NCSA is going to help us dramatically when it comes to the exposure that these athletes deserve, right? I mean, they are promising to put our events out there to every single college coach, not just one, not just FBS, but FBC and all those other ones. And
that's another overlooked conversation. It's like,
I know.
Oh, if you don't go to the big time schools, it's not important, and that's not true. Any opportunity to play college football is a blessing, first and foremost.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
But if you're gonna walk around and think you're like your stuff don't stink, but you don't really have like the big time offers, well, you gotta take a check in the mirror and get to work. And even if you do have the big time offers, oh man, you're the kind of kids I couldn't wait to line up against.
I don't think many athletes think that way today, though.
Man, I couldn't wait, because every time I played an FBS school, every time I played another FCS school against a team that didn't offer me, I had to run harder. Right. It bothered me. James Madison, never lost to them. You know what I'm trying to say?
Absolutely.
Never lost to them in my career.
I mean,
sorry.
I gotta say this. There are, like, you work, and just so everyone who's listening understands a little bit about Nico's background and what he does outside of Elite 7v7, he has S3.Guru. This is something he's been working on for 5 years, been working with him. He trains athletes all day long, every day. And I got to say, some of the athletes you train have that monster in them that's got to come out. One that pops in my head is Cole Garrison. I mean, the kid works hard, and we've seen it for years.
Mr.
Garrison, man.
He's back. He's entering high school this year, man. It's funny. I started with that kid when he was, I want to say, 9 years old.
Yeah. And look at him now.
10 years old, 11 years old, something like that. We got together a few times, and now, he's an incoming freshman, and the kid's a multi-athlete.
He's good.
And he's one of my favorite athletes I've ever got to work with, only because it's not even his abilities and his performance abilities. He loves playing sports. I could see it in his eyes. He wants to show he can play with anybody. And I had that,
Absolutely. That's what I mean.
There's some kids that have that, where they could be silent and observant and look around and let their abilities speak louder than their mouth and
right.
their whatever it is. Like, that's so important. There's a time and place, Like, I'm not saying don't be vocal. I'm just saying there's a time and place to put your word in. As a high school athlete, as a college athlete, I was a very vocal athlete, but I earned that privilege. I understand it was a privilege to be a leader, and it was a privilege my voice meant something. So on the back end, I had to be sharp. I couldn't slip up. I had to be good with my grades. I had to be out of trouble out of school. I had to be, I had to do the right thing. I was the leading in the workouts. You never had to worry about me. I was the guy who had to make it go in high school, particularly. And in college, same kind of deal. Like, I was very competitive in the weight room, and whoever worked out in our group, and I'm talking like guys who were in my group of working out are all college football coaches.
Yeah.
So like, It's hysterical. And like when you work out together and you push each other and you PR, man, like, and years go by and you have that connection, you always have that threat. I could run into those guys tomorrow and it'll be like we were just in the locker room.
I mean, yeah,
and we'll be looking at each other like, man, don't you just wish we could go back? Like,
I feel, you know what though, that's not just football, man. That's every sport. I feel like every person who's had or been an athlete when they were younger has that. I mean, I've ran into kids I haven't seen in 20 years, and it's still
I've played a lot of sports, Corey. All right, I played a lot of sports.
I did too. I know I look chunky. Man. But I did play sports myself. But wait, because TJ's coming on soon. Before we get to him, we got to talk about the elephant in the room here. It's standing behind you. It's on your hat. It's in the middle of our screen over here.
I was kind of letting it speak for itself. But yeah, so I said, through going to college and networking with people and being who you are in time, it's going to pay off. And fortunately for us, I have some really good resources and networks through my alumni, University of New Hampshire, and I got connected to an outlet with Nike. And we decided to partner together as Elite 7v7's football's path, branded with Nike as our apparel. Because as we looked into apparel, right, our first one, we kind of did it on our own just to get it going. Even our logo was very, very basic. But we wanted to give that national presence, the United States of America. We want to go global. We want to go continent to continent, teaching and preaching and outreaching to colleges. We want to get kids into the prospect portal. A lot of kids are looking to enter the transfer portal. We're looking for prospects because if we could develop our own prospect portal, colleges will recruit people from the prospect portal, because we're going to have all your stuff lined up, all your eggs, all your ducks in order. So.
And sporting that Nike logo, man. That's the fact that we have a store, that's going to be able to sell this apparel legally, right? I mean, I can sit here and say that I've absolutely made apparel on a Nike shirt illegally. You know what I mean? The fact that we're doing it legally and we have them as a partner is unbelievable. We got the Jordan logo on the shirts.
So
cool, man.
So it's exciting. It's just the beginning. Hopefully in the future, Nike could be even more involved. Right now we're just a baby to Nike. Headquarters doesn't know us yet. But they will.
Absolutely. I do
agree with you. We will become one of the biggest 7v7 leagues in the Northeast within a year.
Absolutely.
Just by the way we handle our content and what we're trying to develop here, because what I see is not really football. It's like the T-ball of football. It's small fields, one big play and they're in the end zone. Like, there's no space and there's no drives. I want to see a quarterback put together a drive. I want to see a defense get on their heels and then get a stop in the goal line. Like, you can't do that when you're playing within 50 yards. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
You can't.
I think it's huge that you've made those changes. I think
we've conduced it to an exclusive style tournament because we wanted even smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Selective. That's what the biggest companies do. I went to Elite 11. I worked with it. And then you hit different regions.
Right.
And you concentrate because we want the best. We want the best, not just the best talent. There's talent all over the nation. We want the best football players, complete football players, their mentality, their attitude. Yes, sir. Yes, coach. Picking kids up, like body language. Like, you don't have that. Good luck in college, because you're gonna get eaten alive.
Well, I think one of the main things that we're really trying to focus on that other leagues and 7v7 leagues don't focus on is name, image, and likeness. It's something that is very prominent in our league, and it's something we care about because at the end of the day,
NILU, baby, NIL University.
These kids can make money, man, and I know it sounds crazy, but if you don't have the right, let's just look at John Morant right now in the NBA. The guy's making stupid decisions, and now his name, image, and likeness has gone down and plummeted and now he's not the face of the NBA. Well, guess what? We care about our athletes. Exactly.
Sometimes I sit there and I ask myself, who is mentoring this kid?
His dad.
Because when I was 16 years old and I couldn't drive a car legally on my own, all I cared about was a few things. And one of them was being the best football player I could be. I never, ever, ever thought about money. I never associated football with money. And I was fortunate, to grow up where I wasn't, in poverty, but we were not by any means rich. My parents were immigrants, so we had 5 kids in our family. Like they made it week by week. But I loved playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
If it made it to the next level, it's.
I mean, it was definitely different when you were growing up.
When a kid asks to get paid to attend your event, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. I didn't even expect that. That was different for me. Here I am trying to cut prices for other kids to create other opportunities because everyone deserves a chance. Not everyone's 6'6", and not everyone's blessed and gifted with talent. So there's kids out there that work their tail off, and then by year 3, year 4 of college, they finally peak. And now they're getting drafted, or maybe they slip in as an undrafted free agent. Like, dude, it's real.
Yeah.
It's really real. So if you think you're the dog, you better watch how you bark.
Absolutely.
You better watch how you bark, because there's some dogs out there that bark much different. And I seen them, and I played them. And that's why I try to drive this passion is what we're doing, because we need to meet them. They're ahead of us. They're ahead of us. We're behind.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
We're behind in Jersey, so far behind, especially where we're at, Ocean County, Short Conference. We're behind. Sorry, we're behind. How many SEC kids a year?
Yeah, no, I don't think any from this
leave
area.
The Short Conference, full scholarship, quarterbacks, running backs.
Maybe one, which is now Micah Ford.
Last SEC person I know is No Sean Marino.
Wow, he was.
I don't know anybody else, and I can't wait to get him on the show because he'll join. He'll get on.
Absolutely.
These kids probably don't even know who he is, and that's what's crazy. That's what's no. I'm sorry. They don't know who he is. I'm not going to say probably. I've asked kids. No Sean Marino, Donald Brown, who?
Yeah, I hear you. Well, listen, we got TJ joining us shortly. Before we get him on the show, I did again want to thank our sponsors. And our partners, Nike, NCSA, DeWag LLC, La Mondina, again in Brielle, New Jersey, an amazing restaurant.
Oh man, best gnocchi in the shore. Man. Listen, if you're in the Jersey Shore, there's no better restaurant than La Mondina. They're the best. Carmine's the best. Nick's the best.
Yeah.
I have nothing but amazing things to say about them. That was the first job I had at 15, working for the guys that run that place. So absolutely. They're amazing.
They are amazing people. And also, I just want to follow us on social media, guys. We have a YouTube channel starting right now. We are on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. Go follow us on all of our social media. But with that being said, let's get TJ on the show.
Let's get him, MVP.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to the E7 Podcast, the ultimate platform for high school football enthusiasts like yourself. We have a very special guest joining us today, someone who needs no introduction in the Elite 7v7 world. Please join us in giving a warm welcome to TJ Valerio, the MVP of our inaugural Elite 7v7 event. TJ, it's a pleasure to have you on the show and hear about your journey and experience with us. We can't wait to dive into this conversation and learn more about your insights. So let's get started. Nico, what's your first question for TJ?
MVP. Are you gonna repeat? That's my question. I haven't seen you in the registration yet. Are you repeat in tournament too?
That date, the 3rd and 4th, I think I'm going to camp with Dante.
Okay. Good.
I was definitely ready for it though.
No, listen. As long as kids are doing things like that, I'm happy.
Yeah.
It's when kids. I don't want, when you're playing different sports out of season, I feel like it's kind of like contradiction. Like it's football season right now. If you're not playing baseball or if you're not running track, that's just how I see it. It's football season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you play some other sports because you like doing it, that's cool. But you got to get your body ready if you want. It's a small window. It's 2-3 months.
Mm-hmm.
You could play all those other sports year round.
Yeah.
You got to focus if you want to, compete. But so first tournament, TJ was somewhat of a new face. I got the chance to train with him once at S3 prior to him coming out. And this kid came out day one, hit some walls, hit some struggles, and that's what I think won him this award by the end of the weekend, because he put his head down. He wasn't a kid who had his palms up, because I had a lot of them. And he just came to work, and before you know it, this kid was in the championship throwing daggers. Beating Team Young Bulls 20-0. So, TJ, welcome to Elite 77's podcast, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been playing quarterback mostly my whole life. It started off flag football. I started off there. And started playing tackle. I actually played wideout for a little bit.
That helps.
Yeah.
I think we saw you do something at the event, right? Did you run a play as a wide receiver?
No, that was the Howell team.
Oh.
Yeah, so I kind of got to learn how they function on that side, and that kind of really helped me understand where the ball needed to be, what time it needed to be at, stuff like that.
That's important. Yeah. That's everything.
I got a quick question. Now, you just said you played flag football. You say you've played tackle, and now you've been part of the first Elite 77 event. As the MVP, what advice do you have for other athletes or other quarterbacks looking to excel in this format, which is a little bit different than anything else you've played, I'm sure?
Right. 7-on-7, you have time. It's just timing and stuff. You got to know where your receivers are, and it's just windows. You can't really hesitate, because there's going to be other guys, corners coming in. They're reading you. There's no line they can see at you. They don't have to see over a line. So you got to be decisive with your decisions, and just got to know where to hit.
So out of all the tournaments and all the structures you've been to, in comparison to the way we went about the structure of our games, right? Like the dimensions, the rule set, the centers, which way, not saying which way is better, but which way would you say was more simulating of actual preparing a football player for putting pads on?
Definitely the team bonding part of the speed. That really brings you together if you start winning like that, because everyone's on the same page. If we get a head top, and I'm sure you know what that means, everyone's excited for each other. And that kind of correlates to the field, that chemistry that you build with each other. It's just unmatched.
That's it.
Absolutely true there. So now you go to North, High School North?
Yep.
You're a sophomore, and what are your aspirations leading into your junior and senior year? What are you going to do in the off seasons of the next 2 years to excel and put yourself at that high point to be the quarterback there?
I'm definitely hitting the field. I'm sure you saw me and my little brother. I'm trying to help him out, get him right like me.
He's going to be a 12U?
Yeah, he's going to be 13U.
Oh, 13.
13, yeah. He's getting there. And I've also been hitting the plyometrics in the gym. Not so much heavy bodybuilding lifting, because that kind of strains my body. So I'm going to keep it loose, keep it ready, but stronger at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's big with you, Nico, right?
What's that?
I said that's big with you, too. You don't like this whole bodybuilding thing these kids do today.
Tom Brady didn't play in the NFL for as long as he did lifting weights.
Yeah.
So, I mean, granted, it was a different position, but that style will never go away. And honestly, TJ, that's something I saw in you. That style of pocket presence, pocket awareness. When I was told, you're a backup, I was like, what? This is a backup?
Yeah, it's difficult.
Well, granted, the situation, you're dealing with the NJ Gatorade Player of the Year, and the offense is run a certain way, and that's that's that. But when it comes to just, you got to understand, like, I seen Kevin Decker throw the ball every single day. Kevin Decker, the offensive coordinator for Old Dominion. I saw Sean Goldrich throw the ball every day. He's the quarterback coach at the University of Delaware.
Mhm.
I saw Andy Valis throw the ball every day. Andy had a chance with the Eagles, and now he's just in business. So I've seen some pretty passes, you know. I competed against Taylor Heineke. I played against Carson Wentz. You know, I went down to Texas. I watched all these quarterbacks. The top Lagaway, one of the top quarterbacks in the nation. I still think if you go down there, you say you were from Texas, you'd be getting invited to the finals, because you have presence. You could throw the ball, you could sling it, and you're looking to throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You're not looking to run, so you can see the field and you're comfortable. And I'm not just patting you on the back, but to be a sophomore going into your junior year, dude, you know, that doesn't just come overnight. So kudos to you, you know, to your work ethic, studying the game, you know, and it's going to pay off. Just keep moving. That's it.
Now,
Sure.
I want to step a little bit aside from the sports, and I want to ask you about high school in 2023, because we're old heads, man. I'm 35. Nico's 30. You know, high school today just seems a little bit different than when we went. So I just want to know from your standpoint, what challenges do you think high school students face today, both academically and socially?
Well, socially, there's obviously, everyone's extremely judgy. If you're not fit a certain way, they're going to be like, oh, like, they're just going to treat you a different way, right? And just like the learning way, teachers they're either extremely strict or they don't care. Really. To be completely honest with you, just up front. So that's how they are.
No teacher.
One or the other.
Particular, right, TJ? No teacher.
No. No.
I'm sure if they watch this, they won't be able to tell.
Yeah.
So now, are you involved in any extracurricular activities? I mean, is there anything else you do outside of football? What kind of hobbies are you into?
I play basketball. I'm a good basketball player. Grew up playing basketball. And I go to the gym quite often, 3-4 times a week. And I was thinking about getting into lacrosse next year because my cousin plays. This is his first year, so kind of piqued my interest. Might be something new. Might be good at.
Neek, what do you think, Neek? Should he do that?
I don't think any coach should tell a kid what they should or shouldn't do. That's first.
That's a good answer.
Second, listen, at the end of the day, it's your experience, and whatever you love doing, you do it until you don't love it. Especially in high school, because that's the last time it really matters.
Yeah.
So, like, after varsity sports, nobody really cares unless you're a college athlete. Everyone else is just, somebody who's paying to play as like a semi-pro guy or something. Like, I'm not saying that's bad, but that's not why I started playing football. I didn't want to play semi-pro. I didn't want to go to Europe. I didn't want to go to the CFL. I wanted to play in the NFL since I was 7 years old. Period. And that was it. It wasn't anything about making money. It was just a simple fact. I wanted to wear that NFL uniform. I believe I can make it one day if I worked for it. So 17 seasons later, I was right there, and I got banged up, so I couldn't do it. But that's a story of thousands of football players every year. Every year, there's dogs out there that don't get chances because their bodies they put them through the ripper in college. So when it comes to playing sports in high school, dude, you rock out if you love it, But be very mindful of enhancing your chances. It's like playing chess.
Yeah.
You're playing chess, it doesn't matter which object on the table you love more. What matters most is that king not getting knocked away, right? And you taking that king out and saying, check me. So how do you make that happen? You got to make decisions. You have to be decisive. Emotions can't fully take over. You have to understand what decisions you make and what they can lead to. And that's the game of chess.
Right.
So for me, when I was in your situation, I made the decision to stop playing every sport I loved and just focus on football, because I was being told that was what you should do. You know, why play baseball? I love baseball. You know, I made the All-Stars as a freshman. I was on the All-Star team as a freshman. I didn't play my sophomore year, junior year, or senior year. Basketball, played all the way up to 8th grade. This summer going into 9th grade, I played with the JV team in the summer. They put me at center. I hated it. Only because I was physical. That's the only reason why. I hated it so much, I didn't play basketball in high school. Now, I had conversations with certain coaches in high school, and I asked them questions, you know, because I was having second guesses. Hey, coach, like, I don't know if I want to play baseball. Hey, coach, I don't know if I want to play basketball. I kind of want to just focus on football. You know, if you're a high school coach, you're in that position, and if you don't have the knowledge of understanding how college recruiters recruit, do not tell that kid, don't put all his eggs in one basket. Because I told that guy to go F himself. To be quite frank. Okay? At 16 years old, you can't tell a kid that who has dreams. You can't tell a kid don't put all his eggs in one basket. What are you, the Easter Bunny?
Yeah.
Who are you to tell me what basket I'm making, buddy? Focus on your eggs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
Like, do you, right? Nike says just do it. Well, just do you. That comes from Elite 7. Just do you. There ain't no it around here, bro. Do you. And that's all I got to say about that. I didn't love lacrosse because I never thought about playing it. I wanted to lift weights in the spring or run track. So that's what I did. But then my football body wasn't made for track. So I was pulling stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you ain't running track since you're young and staying with it, like a lot of kids do down in South Florida, that's why they're producing those stud athletes all over the place, because they're sprinting year round. There ain't no winter. There ain't no spring where it's cold. They're sprinting all the time. So play every sport, because you never know. You never know. You never know. You might be a dual scholarship athlete. You might get a scholarship at Duke to play lacrosse and football. Two different seasons, bro. Why wasting your time playing spring ball? I gotta be on ESPN, coach. Sorry.
That's what it's about. Well, listen, TJ, we really appreciated you coming on. Something you don't even know. We put, if you're the MVP of a tournament, you do get a free admission into one of our next tournaments. So that is something we put into place. You have all those points in your loyalty rewards bucket on the website. So when it comes to July 8th, I'm not sure if you're free that weekend, but it is going to be at Keene University. And we hope to see you there, man. One day tournament.
Okay.
One day, do or die.
And it's going to be our biggest event yet. It's a great stadium. And we can't wait. I mean, that's going to be.
And we get to show North Jersey a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So thank you, TJ. I really appreciate you having you on here, and look out for this podcast to drop tomorrow. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it, fellas.
Thanks.
Tom Walker, MVP. You have a good night, brother.
Can't
wait to do again.
I appreciate you guys.
Take care.
All right, so before we wrap up, we want to again express our gratitude to our sponsors and our partners. Again, that's DWAG LLC, La Mondina of Brielle, New Jersey, of course, Nike and NCSA, for their support in making this podcast possible. We appreciate their commitment to empowering young athletes and providing opportunities for growth and development. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to the E7 podcast. We hope you found today's episode informative and engaging. Stay tuned for more exciting conversations with inspiring guests and valuable insights into the world of high school sports and beyond. And remember to follow us on social media, visit our website, elite7v7football.com, and of course, subscribe to the E7 podcast for updates on future episodes. If you have any feedback or suggestions, we would love to hear it from you. Until next time, keep chasing your dreams and give it your all. And as Nico would say, just do you.
Who's next?